Okie dokie, boys and girls. So today we have a leg day, and am I nervous? Yes, I am. Holy shit. Today we have the 1 rep max going on for the pistol squat, which it's been a while, I think it's been like 2 months or even more since I've really maxed out on pistol squats. And last time I did so, I did 54 kilos for 2 reps. So today, anything 56 kilos or higher is basically going to be a PR. Now, 56 kilos, okay, but I'm gonna try a YOLO set of 60 kilos as well, which, if that's possible, I would just be fucking amazed at myself. So that's why I'm kind of nervous, putting that kind of weight, on your shoulders, and then also just putting your entire weight on one leg and then squatting it. It's fucking daunting, right? Because you're under all of this pressure and then you have to keep the balance. It's insane. But anyway, before we get to the 1 rep max of the pistol squat, I've got some Nordic curls to do. Last time I did volume, and if you're following the pattern, I switch volume and basically intense heavy sets. So today I will do those heavy sets with 8 kilos on the Nordic curl. Now, 8 kilos doesn't sound like a lot, but in the Nordic curl, it's basically a lever exercise where, like the front lever, like the planche, the longer your body becomes, the more difficult the exercise become. Or if you put weight at the end of the lever, that's not just 8 kilos or 2 kilos in the planche or something. That gets multiplied because it's at the end of the lever. So these Nordic curls are going to be very heavy. And at the moment, my PR with 8 kilos is 2 sets of 2 reps. So, harder than last time. Today, I'm going to aim for 3 reps, basically, right? I mean, you just try to chip away at the PRs you have, and perhaps sometimes you will also do something new, so you have something new to note down in your PR book. But basically, you try to train harder than last time, and you try to hit as many PRs as possible, which is what I'm gonna do today. Now, of course, I'm not just gonna jump right into it. Actually, when I do these heavy trainings, most of my sets are warm-up sets. I don't count them, of course, but like today, I will do 2 sets of Nordic curls. Leading up to it, I will do 2 finger assisted, index finger assisted, pinky assisted, 1 pinky assisted, then a half rep, then a pinky assisted full rep, then I basically do a normal Nordic curl, so that's 7, and then 4 kilos, and then I get to 8 kilos. So after 8 sets, I get to my main set. Like, I get to it gradually, and that's very important, right? Because, if you just jump right into it, not only are you gonna be at the risk of injuring yourself, you're also not just gonna be in the zone yet, It takes time for your body every day to just get in the zone and adapt to the movement patterns and really smoothen it out. So, of course, you don't want to waste too much energy on the warm-up either, but you don't want to neglect it. It's like this fine balance, this fine line that you really want to find between warming up sufficiently and not tiring yourself out. But if you were to mess up on one or the other, right, it's better to mess up on warming up too much, right? That's going to be safer. If you warm up too much and you lose energy, well, you get to live another day because at least you're not going to injure yourself or you're far less likely to do so. So I'm going to be very careful today, but at the same time, be ready to horsecock some serious weights. I I can't wait. Let's just head outside and get started with the Nordic curl. Okay, so that's the entire warm-up done, and you're probably thinking that it's very time-consuming because it's like 8 or 9 sets. But basically, until I get to the full movement, so every time I do a partial movement, I don't take a lot of rest time, it's like 1 minute, so I just breeze through it, and then once I get to the full movement, the full reps assisted with the pinky, then the normal Nordic curl, then the weighted with 4 kilos. For those, I start taking like 3 to 4 minutes of rest. And then after that, basically, I get to the main sets, and the main sets today like 2 sets, so it's like basically 80% warm up, and then another 20% of actual training. But nonetheless, that's what it takes, to train heavy safely. So I'm gonna get on with the remainder of the sets, which is 2 sets of 3 reps of 8 kilos, hopefully. And yeah, I'll see you after that. Yes. One more set. All right. Okay, so very happy with the result of the Nordic curls. 8 kilos. That's just straight up something that was impossible for me even 1 or 2 months ago. So, yeah, I did have to help a little bit with my finger on the second set. But hey, I'm not gonna complain. Like, it's 8 kilos, 2 sets, 3 reps. And basically, this was my 1 rep max a couple weeks ago. This was impossible a month ago. So, it's kind of what I was explaining a couple videos ago. Like, building volume is so nice. Like, when you're training, at one point you have this difficulty or this exercise that is just impossible or a 1 rep max for you, and as you progress it just turns into something that you do for volume. And I think that process is so nice. And basically I've been doing it for the Nordic curl, right? At one point I was injured, I couldn't do even one. Now I'm doing 35 in one training, and the same is happening for weighted Nordic curls, even which I hadn't even done up until a couple months ago. So very happy with the progress there. Now though, yeah, now it's time to get serious because we've got some pistol squats on the menu. So I'm gonna warm up. Basically, the jumps are gonna be 30, 40, 50, 56 for my first PR, which I wanna get like no conditions, no questions asked. I just wanna get the 56 kilos. And then I'm gonna do a YOLO set of 60 kilos as well. So yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, you have this balance between warming up and not tiring yourself out. I'm gonna do 2 reps, maybe 3 reps with 30 kilos. Then I'm gonna add the backpack because I can't put all the weight on my dumbbells. But I'm gonna get the new feel for the backpack again because it's been a while. Do maybe 1 or 2 reps with 40 kilos, then a single of 50, single of 56, and then 60. Like fucking 60. Holy shit. I'm afraid, but I'm excited. So I'm just gonna shut up and get going. Let's go. All right. Gotta get used to the backpack. Well, I just lost balance there. That's okay. Let's go for 56. All right, that's already very difficult. One more go. Fuck it. 60 kilos or I can't be satisfied. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. Oh. Oh, I'm lucky to have the backpack holding me. Holy shit. Alright. 60 kilo is a fail. I'm gonna have another attempt in 2 weeks though. 56 kilos for now. And I think I know what I'm lacking. I have to practice a bit more with the backpack. First of all, get into the squat slowly and also, practice with the backpack and also practice getting into the squat slowly. Ideally do both at the same time. Now, I don't know yet how that's gonna exactly work out, but I'll figure that out, For now, 60 kilos is a failure, although I'm very happy I attempted it, Like, it wouldn't even pop up in my mind yet to try this before. So the fact that I did it right now, it's a success. Sometimes failure is a success. And this was, maybe not a failure, I keep mentioning this as well, but I say failure, but to be honest, it's just an attempt, right? I can go again whenever I want. So, 60 kilos will definitely fall, hopefully even before I go to Japan. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep training and do whatever I can to reach it. So right now, I'm just gonna back off the weight, maybe go to like 20 kilos and basically do some slow and controlled squats, I believe. This can also function as mobility training. So, couple sets, let's go. All right, that's it for today's training. And to be honest, I can't wait for the next one because I do believe I'm close to 60 kilos. I just have to feel the heavy squats a bit more. So I'll do those 5 sets of 3 or 10 sets of 3. I'll manage. But in between those trainings where I do lots of heavy squats, I gotta manage, putting on the backpack as well and basically getting used to it because I feel like, it's pulling you back a little bit. So it put me off. And I feel like if I can get used to that, I'll be in a good situation to basically pull off the 60 kilos, which 60 kilos is still, it's 15 kilos from the final goal. I want to be able to squat 75 kilos on one leg when I'm weighing 75 kilos so that I can say that I have done, a double bodyweight pistol squat. But, that seems far off, We're close to the other goals, to the planche, to the front lever, to the hamstring curl even, right? But pistol squats, they are gonna take a while. And from the beginning, I felt like, this was gonna be the hardest goal. So at one time, like on one side, it's just like, it's scary because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do. On the other hand, it's like every time I do get a little bit more weight on the pistol squat, today 56 kilos is still a PR. It's exciting because it's more than I thought I was able to do before. It's still it's a PR, right? It's as simple as that. So very much looking forward to the next training. And just for now, I want to answer one more question. Someone asked me if this is really all I do for legs, like if I build my legs by pistol squats and the Nordic curl? And the answer is pretty much yes, for the pistol squats or for the quadriceps, I'll say. And I would say at least 85% of my legs is built by the pistol squat. I've done some high volume squats with low weights in the past as well. I've done lunges every now and then. I've done squats even, 3, 4 years ago when I, tore my ACL, my knee ligament. For the rehab, I had to do some barbell squats as well. So I went up to 80 kilos there during the rehab, and then afterwards, I set a PR of 105 kilos. But basically, since then, I've only done pistol squats. And even to get up to the 105 kilo squat, which is not that much to be honest, I got up to that weight by just training pistol squats. So, for the quadriceps, yes, pistol squats, it is just heavy stuff or just volume stuff, both work. And then for the hamstrings, pretty much 100% is the Nordic curl. I didn't do any hypertrophy work other than the Nordic curl ever in my life, aside from one deadlift. I deadlifted once in my life, and I pulled 180 kilos at that time, which is a lot, but it's basically just the result of doing Nordic curls in the front lever for a long while. So yes, my legs are built by these two exercises. There's nothing much more to it, but hey, they're getting me somewhere. Getting me somewhere. They're not too big yet. My legs, they're not very big yet, but at least they're growing. So very happy with that, and I'll just continue doing these exercises because basically, to get bigger legs, to get bigger anything, you just pick an exercise that trains it, right? And you get strong at that exercise, and the muscle will grow if you eat enough. So that's quite simple. Speaking of eating, it's again 11 a.m. I haven't eaten anything except a banana, which is not good in a bulking context. So I'm gonna have breakfast first and then have a shower instead of, vice versa. I've been kind of lazy on the weekends lately, training quite late, staying in bed until 7 a.m. instead of 6, and then, having a bit of a chill moment in between runs and the training. Mainly because of the fucking hay fever. Like, I don't know, like, who the fuck invented hay fever, but fuck that guy, Like, it's so annoying. When I come back from the run, my eyes are just dry, but watering at the same time. They're fucking itchy. I can't even fucking breathe because my nose is full of snot. So I basically, I take some time in between trainings when I can on the weekends. And then you get into this situation where basically it's 11 a.m. and you have to fucking eat. So I'm gonna head downstairs, have some food, and see you tomorrow for push day. Yes.